but I'm loud. That's right. And I'm proud. I don't believe I'm Irish, but I kind of like it. So I'm wearing my Irish hat here this morning. I got plenty of green on. I don't really know why. I could have gotten pinched, but now because I've got my green on, I will not get pinched. How you doing this morning? Happy St. Patty's Day to you all, to you all. That's right. Love to have you join me here on the radio and on Facebook Live. Love for somebody to ask me, what the heck are you wearing today, Ann Eller? That's right. I'm going to say happy St. Patty's Day. Big places are going to be celebrating here today. I don't know how many big celebrations there are going on in Greenwood, but luck of the Irish, luck of the Irish. You know, if it wasn't for the Irish, we wouldn't have built as many things as we had back when they were all coming into the country, when they were having the potato wars and everything. You know, there's so much interesting parts of our history, isn't it? And sometimes we have a tendency to forget about the different ethnicities that have brought so much to our country. You know, when we talk about America as a melting pot, they certainly used to be. Now I think we do everything in different pots. We don't wanna bring together all the great traditions and everything. People want to keep this tradition separate and this one separate instead of coming together and realizing that we can all be proud Americans. So anyways, it's going to be quite a day out there for some. For some, it'll just be a ho-hum, ho-hum. There is, of course, the corned beef and cabbage. I tell you what, Jeff looked forward to this day every year. Not because he was Irish. I think he was actually Scottish. But because he used to love having corned beef and cabbage. In fact, we would have to eat at Cracker Barrel every day that they had corned beef and cabbage. And even when they took it off the menu, he'd ask, and they might have one last serving left, and he'd have it. So that was our tradition. Sometimes I'd make corned beef and cabbage, but you know, really, it was just as good to go to Cracker Barrel. Not that it wasn't good. It just was so much easier and all the cabbage and this. Anyways, you get my drift. All right. Well, we've got a lot of exciting stuff to get to here today. Yesterday, it had been rumored that Rom Reddy, who founded Doge SC and who is a very wealthy man who built a seawall, and South Carolina told him he had to take it down. He kept fighting. There's now been a stay so that he doesn't have to take it down, and the fines are gone. But he is now running for governor for the great state of South Carolina. How about that for something interesting? And he put out a tweet yesterday, a video on the tweet. So I thought we might, if I can get back here to it, might play that. It's about 4 minutes long. Well, let's get back to the right page here, Ann. It's a very, I think it's rather interesting, and I would love to get your comments on it. And of course, I'm going to make my comments as I always do here, because I think that this is really going to shake the race up. This is really going to shake this race up here. And so let's see, here's what I wanted. I tried to have it all ready to queue up here this morning. He's put $1 million. He's got $1 million ad buy out there. So far, Rob, I could use some of that money. So if you want to contact me, I would love to hear from you about that buy because he's making a big, big buy here. But let's see if I can get down here to where it is. Yes, I am going to cue this up and put it out there. Yes, let's stop it. And let's see, where are we at? Here we go. I'm going to let you actually listen and or watch this. Top monitor, where we go? No, just top monitor. How about that? There we go. All right, let's watch. If you're on Facebook Live with us, if you haven't seen it, if you have, then you know what I'm talking about. If you want to see it, just join us right here on WCRS Facebook. We are Facebook Live right now. So let's go ahead and play it. Take it away. Whoops, here we go.
Because it's time for something different. I'm a husband, father, grandfather, and have been CEO of multiple businesses. I will start by saying I do not plan to accept campaign donations, nor will I seek endorsements. I did donate $1 million to President Trump because we were on the verge of losing our country, and I knew President Trump was the man for the moment. However, money has corrupted South Carolina politics, so I will not accept any. Make no mistake, there are only 2 lanes in this race. In my lane, there's just me. Like President Trump, I'm a Wharton Business School grad, spent my entire life in the private sector, creating thousands of jobs and investing millions in American manufacturing. I believe the political system is corrupted by dark money, special interests, and inside deals. This is why I will not accept campaign donations. In this darkness, I will be a voice for the voiceless and will not be controlled by the elites and donors. In the other lane, there are 4 candidates with over 50 years in politics who make the same promises every election cycle but do not deliver. 2 lanes, 2 choices. I will govern with a commitment to 4 principles from which I will not waver or bend. First, the source of our rights is our Creator. We kneel to God, not government, will be a founding principle of governance. Second, I will always respect the origins and sanctity of the U.S. Constitution, which will always guide my actions. Third, I will end the division through leadership that emphasizes that we're all children of God, made in His image, and God wants us to find the common good. And last, I pledge to end the weaponization of government against us, the citizen. The deep state must and will be dismantled, and money and power returned to you, the citizen. The ruling class will not do this. I will. It's important to realize we're a red state, unlike a blue state. We have the highest income tax of any red state in the nation. Property taxes that are a life sentence, sales tax, gas tax, and you name it tax. What do we get for this? Out of control government spending is what we got, but the state general fund budget has almost doubled in the last 10 years. Our K-12 education is a disgrace to our children and is consistently in the bottom 10 in the nation. 68% of our 4th graders cannot read at grade level, despite the state spending $18,000 per child per year. Our roads are consistently in the bottom 5 in the nation, despite dramatically increased spending. Our 85,000 regulations are 1.5 times greater than California on a per capita basis and are choking citizens and choking off good companies from coming to South Carolina. So what do? They make bad economic deals with your money. The ruling class has been in charge of this mess for a very long time. The other 4 candidates all try to present themselves as different, but they are part of the ruling class that got us here. What do we have to lose to take a shot at something different? I'm someone who has never been part of that ruling class, but has had great success in the very tough American private sector. Someone who, through God's grace, has lived the American dream. Someone who will bring leadership to a system where no one appears to be in charge. My name is Ram Reddy. I am that someone different, and I will not let you down. If I do not deliver, I will not run again. That is my commitment to you, plain and simple.
All right, so what do you think here? Wow, there's a lot. What do you take from someone who's sitting here with a St. Patty's Day hat that's about 12 inches high with a big shamrock on it? How do you take someone like that serious? That's what I want to know. Well, I think he makes several interesting points. One interesting point. He said he donated $1 million to Donald Trump's campaign. Now, we all know that our 4 candidates, I would say 2 in particular, are on the hunt for Donald Trump's endorsement. What do you think? I donated $1 million to President Trump. Do you think President Trump might consider endorsing him? I don't know. That would be one of my questions right there. How does this shake the race up? I think a lot of people are probably pretty shaken up by this, even though it had been rumored out there for quite a while. Now, can he win it is, of course, the question. Can he win it, or will he just be a detractor in what is happening? I think one of the most important things to note about this is how many people were undecided voters at the time of the last poll, which I think was sometime last week. We were talking about that. Large swath of the Republican voters are still undecided. They're still not leaning one way or the other. Will this push them one side or the other? Will Ram Reddy, which is kind of a hard name to say, Ram Reddy, become a household name? These are just some of the questions that I think it's going to be quite a campaign that they will put together here to put this out. Of course, I've got a lot of questions about Ram Reddy, and I'm actually not going to put that out there because I do want to do some research before I put out some of the things that I want to ask. But he is the multi-millionaire founder of Doge SC. And they say has put an end to the months of speculation. So here he is. He has announced the race, just in my opinion, got very interesting. Very interesting. A lot of people are saying, oh, I don't know, and I need to know more about him, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Oh, come on. This is politics, folks. This is going to be exciting. Regardless of which candidate you support, and you know me, I'm going to be talking to all of them that will talk to me. Some of them, I think, just are too afraid to come on, actually. No, I'm just teasing. But I think I do ask the questions that a lot of the others don't. And that's why I try to be a person you can count on to get information. But let's just talk a little bit about this. We've already put a feelers out to Ram Reddy to have him come on. We've got an interview with Ralph Norman coming up on the 31st. I believe we're going to have Alan Wilson in studio, and maybe I think it's next week. I don't want to jinx it, but I think he's going to be in studio with us next week. So there you go. Ralph Norman, though, is coming on strong. You know, he just opened a campaign office in Greenville, so I think we're pretty lucky. This first interview, although they have told me they will get him on in studio here with us, but this first interview will be a call-in interview, and that'll be happening 2 weeks. We've already got that one out there. So, what do you think about this? Everybody is going to be jockeying for position. Speaking about interviews, tomorrow afternoon at 5, we're going to have Representative John McCravy on with us. And I hope he can answer some of the questions, some of the things that we've been trying to get some answers to. I hope he'll bring that to the table on Wednesday afternoon. Yes, he'll be in studio. Yes, we'll be in studio. So that's kind of my take on it. But 864-332-9355, 864-332-9355. Love to know what you think about Ron Reddy. I mean, actually, how can you not be for somebody who's fighting the corruption, who has been out there to has been working on this judicial reform? And I tell you what could be more a reason to fight for judicial reform than what happened with John Few a couple of weeks ago, him stepping down, Jay Lucas trying to finagle his way into the Supreme Court judge. So what could be more in that lane? In that lane. That is a good thing that he's been working on. And he certainly has been somebody, Ron Reddy has certainly been somebody that I think all our legislators are mindful of as they're talking about the issues that are facing them down in Colombia. He has been out there for the last, let's see, what is this, March, maybe November, December. You started hearing rumblings about this Doge SC, and it was fully implemented. So you can get more information about ROM, R-O-M, Reddy, R-E-D-D-Y. We will be following this with active delight to see how this stirs the pot. You know, whether he wins or not, he has had a profound effect already on the legislature down there in Colombia. So this is, I think, pretty darn cool from what I'm seeing. I think it's pretty darn cool that he's gotten in. I'm not saying I'm for him. I'm not against him. I just think it has added another element to everything going on. So that was the thing I really wanted. One of the things I really wanted to talk about. Another I wanted to talk about is how much it actually costs to run for governor and some of the other offices right here in South Carolina. What did I do with it? Here it is. So this is another thing. Just to be able to put your name in the hat costs. Oh, wait a minute. Before I talk about that, how about this one? You know, some people, I think, I'm just going to say this, don't know when to quit. Just don't know when to quit. Mark Sanford is considering a campaign run for his old South Carolina seat, which is now occupied by Nancy Mace. That's right. He's decided maybe Lindsey Graham is just not one of his targets that he is going to take. But he is thinking about running for House of Representatives, although I think it'll be very difficult for him, particularly as long as Trump is in office, because Trump had pretty much a problem with him the last time. So for him to do that's going to be pretty hard. Of course, remember, Mark Sanford is the one that put two pigs under his arms and walked them into the legislature. That was pretty interesting back in the day. Of course, he's also the one that was supposedly walking the Appalachian Trail when he really was cha-cha-cha down in South America with his South American lover. Yes, there you go. So it says sources familiar with Sanford's thinking say that while the Senate speculation is intriguing and more in line with... Who is this? No. Oh, yeah, okay. Is more in line. Graham is currently being challenged for U.S. Senate by Project 2025 architect Paul Daines, upstate businessman Mark Lynch, and former Lieutenant Governor Andre Bauer, initially mounting a campaign but later dropping out. Yeah, about 2 or 3 weeks. We didn't get to see anything there. But anyways, he is thinking that... Mark Sanford is thinking that he could do better for his former House seat. So he served 3 terms in the U.S. Congress from 1995 to 2001 after making good on his term limit pledge. One of the few politicians to walk the walk on that issue, was elected governor in 2002, serving a pair of 4-year terms. But, so he thinks he might be able to make this as in the House. I think that's going to be very, very, very difficult. He, of course, would join State Representative Marvin Mark Smith, Dorchester County Councilman Jay Byers, retired United States Air Force Colonel Alex Pelbath, physician entrepreneur Sam McCowan, Charleston County Councilwoman Jenny Costa Honeycutt, the daughter of influential Republican National Committee woman Cindy Costa, and nationalist conservative Tyler Dykes. So that is a huge field. But you got to make up your mind by the 30th at noon whether to throw your name in the hat. Now, Fitz News says that's highly doubtful, especially with President Donald Trump eager to remind voters of Sanford's perceived disloyalty to the MAGA movement during the 2020 campaign season. So, Mark Sanford may not be done with politics, but politics certainly appears to be done with Mark Sanford. I agree. I think that's a pretty big lift for Mark Sanford to make a campaign. Maybe he's got a new book coming out and he's just trying to make some waves. Isn't that what you do? You try to make some waves before when you got a new book coming out, and try to get on some TV shows, radio shows or something so you can talk about your book and sell books. Anywho, that could be another interesting one, but I think really not that interesting, simply because it is it's a waste of time. So let's see, what else did we have? We wanted to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about energy here in just a minute, I think, and this. How much does it cost to run for an office? And how do they come up with the prices? I think more interesting, how do they come up for the prices? Now, anything that is a partisan, meaning Republican, Democratic type thing, files by the end of the month, the 30th of March. And then in April, nonpartisan offices will be filing. So this is just the beginning of who's going to run. So today, some people have already put their names in the hat. Lindsey Graham filed yesterday. Woohoo! And they call the process is a rite of political passage. Yes. And so once the paperwork is submitted, though, a campaign is official. A lot of people say they're running for office, but they never put their money where their mouth is, so they never are an official an official candidate. But what I found interesting last night was I was reading this. You have to have identification. You not only have to show ID to vote in South Carolina, but candidates must also show it so others can vote for them. Well, that seems pretty reasonable, doesn't it? Is there somebody out there that's going to object to that? You have to have a statement of intent saying that you intend to run and what office you're running from. Ethics filings, that's the mundane paperwork of campaign disclosure reports and the statement of economic interest. Are you somehow connected to something that could be advantageous to you? This one I thought also. You have to make a party pledge, a public statement affirming that the candidate affiliates with the political party on whose ballot his or her name will appear. And then, of course, there's this pesky thing called filing fees. So here you go. To run for the House of Representatives, it costs $208. To run for the Senate, it costs $416. That's just the filing fee now. Running for Congress will set you back $3,480. If you want to run for governor, it'll cost you $4,243. And if you want to run for the U.S. Senate, it's a whopping $10,440. Now, if you want to do something that people may or may not remember you for, maybe you want to run for office. I mean, with these type of things right here, I guess most anybody that has the money could run for governor. You don't have to spend all this money. You could be I'm the free press candidate. There you go. Anything you could do to be a free candidate, right? A free publicity candidate you could do. Because the problem is candidates have to spend so much money, don't they? They have to spend so much money. So I would contend that if you're looking for a way to be remembered, be the free press candidate. You'll take all the free press you can get and go ahead and run for an office. Now, I'm being facetious, of course, but I do think that could be rather interesting. But consider this, $10,440 if you want to run for the Senate, $4,200 and some change to run for governor. So I think those figures, I think we'll see a lot more candidates, of course, filling out their paperwork, getting it in. What did it say? If you've got to, some have to go to Columbia to file, some can file at their local offices. So that's just, I thought you might get a kick out of knowing how much it actually costs to run for office. And we always know that it seems to be the candidates that spend the most money have the most success. I'd like to see a candidate run for, I'm the free press candidate. Anything social media, free, I'll take it. Interviews, free, I'll take it. I'm not spending a dime. Let me know what you're thinking. 864-332-9355. 864-332-9355. Love to know what you are thinking about all of these things. Let's see. If we got any messages coming in, 864-332-9355. Well, one of our texters here just said, I think it's a shame people have to pay to run for public office. I don't know. You know, it costs a lot to put on. You shouldn't have to have money to have a voice. Well, you know, if you could come up with the money to run, that's where I was saying you could be the free press candidate. Of course, how would you get the word out? That is why radio, TV, journalists, everybody is always excited about this. And I'm sure a lot of people are going, Rom ready, $1 million, Rom ready, $1 million, are getting excited about the fact that the amount of money he is going to spend. He supposedly has a big ad buy that has come out, is coming out, probably will be rolled out on several different platforms. Just for the record, I haven't been notified of any of my lottery winnings yet either. But we shouldn't forget, Pamela Evitt rolled out a $1 million campaign in the first month that she was running. So, $1 million in today's world seems like a lot if you don't have it. But if you have it, I guess it's not that much. I don't know. I've never had $1 million. Anyways, that's a little bit of conversation about that. Just for the heck of it, I thought it would be fun to talk about it. Let's see. I've had several comments about my hat here this morning. Happy to you too, says Judy. Diane says, guess you will not be getting pinched today. And Renee says, a leprechaun in the wild. Woohoo! Yes, I am. All right. So we're getting some interaction right here on WCRS Facebook Live. All right. So what else are we going to talk about here this morning? We could talk about short people. I'd probably get in trouble, though, so I guess we won't. All right, anyways, we've got some other good stuff to talk about. I wanted to talk about this energy thing. I want to talk about the weather. Oh, my God, was it cold yesterday? Was it cold? Let's see. I'll be over around 11. Okay, we got work going on. We got stuff happening here. This is all good. It's nothing like a live show to really put you at your talents here to see what's happening. All right. Well, it looks like we are confirming that interview with Alan Wilson. I'll tell you about that one tomorrow. That's going to be at a very special time. You're going to want to tune in for that. That'll not be at our regularly scheduled time. I'm going outside the bounds to make sure we bring you what you want to hear from, and that's our candidates. I also will be looking for your questions. Okay, I want to talk about the weather first. Weather. Okay, we are at, right now, 35 degrees on St. Paddy's Day. Feels like 28. We are headed for a high of 51. So a high of 51, sunny and cool. Tonight will be a low of 29 degrees. If you've planted anything, you better have covered it. I drove by Lowe's last night. They'd covered up all their plants that were out there. Wednesday looks like a high of 53. Partly sunny skies. No chance of rain. Winds light and variable. Wednesday evening, a low of 31. No chance of rain. Thursday, a high of 66. It'll be Thursday before we get more seasonable. Low of 42. Friday, a high of 75. Let me ask you something. Have you ever lived in a place where you can be at 29 degrees on one day and on 75 on Friday? Let me tell you, this is a wild place to live. All right, low of 52. Saturday, high of 82. Low of 59. And Sunday, a high of 86, a low of 58. So after that, looks like maybe we have made it through this unseasonably cold weather. All right, Penny's been practicing, sitting on her seat and getting ready to be on the air with me. I know, everybody's getting real excited. I'm afraid when I put her on the air, I may be out of a job. I may be the supporting role instead of her supporting me. She probably is going to want me to Oh, support her. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right. I want to talk about this energy. This issue on energy is becoming a huge issue, and then I am going to have to finish up and go for today. This is something we all have seen, how the cost of energy, when we had this really cold snap and people were talking about how their energy bills, some of them had doubled. This is something we definitely need to look at. Lawmakers in South Carolina are starting to take a closer look at how electricity is bought and sold in our state, and whether a middleman in the process is driving up costs for everyday people. This was a big article that I was reading from, I think it was from Fitz News, could have been from South Carolina Gazette. Power is generated by companies like Santee Cooper that gets it sold to a group called Central Electric Power Cooperative, and from there it's sold again to your local electric cooperative, and then finally to you. That is a lot of steps. Now, some local co-ops are saying that middle layer, Central Electric, is no longer necessary and is actually making power more expensive. One cooperative says their members could end up paying more than $600 million over time through this system. On top of that, Santee Cooper is dealing with billions of dollars of debt from the failed nuclear project years ago, and those costs haven't disappeared. They're still being felt in today's rates. The result? Wholesale power costs have jumped about 30% in the last 2 years. So now some lawmakers are beginning to ask a big question. Is it time to rethink the system and allow local providers to buy power directly, cutting out the middleman and potentially lowering your bill? This is an interesting issue. Aside from all the bickering and all the laws and regulations, Ron Reddy says we got 85,000 regulations on the books. Oh my God. Can you even turn around without doing something wrong? Anyways, nothing has changed yet, but this is something to watch because it could turn into a major issue at the State House. One of the things you have to remember, though, and this is why things don't, maybe the issues that come up don't actually get taken care of, is that they will be finishing up in May. So we're already into March. They've got the budget to work on. So we've got March, half of March, we've got April, and then somewhere in the first 2 weeks of May, they should be finishing up. So do you really think it's going to be taken up? Probably not. Probably not to the extent that it should be. Nothing has changed, but this is something to watch because it could turn into a major issue at the State House. Do you think cutting out the middleman would lower your power bill, or is there more to the story? You'll have to stay tuned right here on WCRS and around the area. You can always give me a call if you know something about energy costs. And we're going to hear, oh, it's so expensive to maintain. We've got all these costs. Yes, absolutely. But the more people that the costs that the energy flows through, the more people have their hand out taking a cut. And, if they're handling it, they're doing it, they should have the opportunity to make money. That is the capitalistic society that we live in. The question is, do we need all these layers that we have right now? That is truly the question. Do you need to have middlemen? Not middleman, middlemen, because it seems like it goes through many layers, and that's just a quick synopsis on the energy issue which is at hand. All right, so let's see if we got anything else here I need to delve into. We'll see here in just a minute if there's anything else I need. I did have some other cool stories, but let me check this source right here. See what's coming across my desk. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh, yeah, that's a travesty. Don't you hate it when people do that? Oh, yeah, that's a travesty. Well, what are you talking about? I'm not going to tell you. It's just a travesty. It's just a travesty. It is amazing. You know what I think is amazing is how many things happen in this community that end up on the statewide scene, right? It's just truly is. Okay, all right. I checked my horoscope. Nothing wild to talk about here this morning. All right, there you go. All right, there's nothing actually we need to talk about there. We talked about Dale Earnhardt yesterday, following that story. And the Homeland Security funding bill fails in the Senate again. This is when you know that they just are not serious about taking care of you or me. Because we are now seeing long lines, anybody wanting to fly TSA, people are having to leave their jobs. Not that they want to leave their jobs, they can't afford to keep working and not getting paid. This has been going on, since February 13th? A week or two, okay, I think everybody can hang with it, and they had money piped into the system. But now they're not getting paid. Does that make for good, happy employees? Heck no. And some employees cannot afford to work without getting paid. One of the things that the Greenville Spartanburg, they're taking donations. I know they're probably taking food donations, any type of donations for the employees that work at the TSA. This is a travesty. People are talking about the huge wait times. On top of that, you may think if you are in a TSA line and you miss your flight because you couldn't get through the line, guess what? The airlines do not have to reimburse you for that missed flight. People are talking about going to the airport 3 and 4 hours in advance. Isn't that unbelievable? Yes, that is. So we've got messages. I'm dinging every step of the way here this morning. I got to tell you about that. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Oh, what have we got for messages coming in? Yeah, if Congress didn't get paid every time there was a partial government shutdown, these shutdowns would stop. Isn't that the truth? If a government shutdown is going on, Congress, House of Representatives, and senators should not get paid. And I don't care who's the one that's holding it up. The House has passed the Homeland Security bill, piece that was missing. The Senate is still holding out. The Democrats seem to think they have the power, and they're actually proving they have the power. But how is this actually going to play out when they're up for re-election? I mean, come on. November is election time for a lot of these senators, not all, but for some of them. House of Representatives, all of them are up for re-election. So how does this play out when you're playing with our country's security, particularly when we have all of that going on in Iran? It just seems crazy to me that we're not doing what's right. So I agree. Somebody up there in Congress should put a bill up that says if there's a government shutdown for any part of the government, then Congress doesn't get paid. Wouldn't that be interesting? To have to put your money where your mouth is and not get paid. Absolutely. All right, I did have one more quick thing I wanted to tell you about this morning. Where is it? Yes, here it is. March 17th. Today is St. Patty's Day. Don't forget that. Wear your green. I am covered in green today, so just so I don't get pinched. I'm also just trying to support the Irish cause. Yeah, that's me. Ha. A little bit of Irish never hurt anybody, did it? The sparkling eyes, yes. Okay, tonight at Lander University, March 17th, Lander University College Democrats are hosting Dr. Annie Andrews for U.S. Senate. She is trying. She is going for. She thinks she has a chance. She thinks she has a shot at unseating Lindsey Graham. And so that is going on tonight. She is, as her campaign flyer says here, fighting for South Carolina, Tuesday, March 17th at 5:30 at the Carnell Learning Center, LC 342. Dr. Annie Andrews, candidate for the United States Senate. All meetings are open to the public. Anybody can go to that meeting. And if you're interested in knowing what she has to say, she must have a little bit of money. She had to pay $10,000 if she's filed for this seat. But Dr. Annie Andrews will be there this evening at 5:30. She is a Democratic candidate trying to unseat Lindsey Graham. I did want to make sure you knew about that. What else? Did we have anything else I absolutely have to tell you about? Absolutely. I tell you what I'm kind of excited about. The end of the month, the Palmetto Sportsman's Classic. Now you would say, Ann, you're not that much into sports. Well, that's true. I'm not a big game hunter. Do we have big game here? I'm not a big game hunter. I'm not a small game hunter. I don't like those, I don't like coyotes, but other than that, I'm pretty amenable. But the Palmetto Sportsman's Classic is going on the end of the month, March 28th through the 30th. And it's at the fairgrounds, and it is pretty cool. They've got all kinds of cool. This is a huge show. The thing I'm most interested in is the big airwave that they're doing with dogs. Dogs jump into the water, you've seen them and everything. That is all going to be part of that. They have, they call them dock dogs, and dueling dogs, and all this kind of stuff. That is actually coming to the Palmetto Sportsman's Classic, and they have a huge aquarium. So I'm looking for a twofer here. I want to see the dock dogs perform, and I also want to see America 250 exhibit that'll be open to the public down there at the fairgrounds. They started this in October when the fair was October, and they're opening that exhibit all the time when events are going on. The America 250 exhibit will be there. So I think this will be a fun thing to actually be part of and to bring it to you. I plan to bring you videos, some live things, and so that we can share that with you. So that's what I have going on. I had one more thing I thought I wanted to tell you about. Oh, yes. Here we go. The South Carolina 250 American Revolution. Turned out the South Carolina Patriots did have the luck of the Irish on their side during the American Revolution. According to research by historian Tom Elmore, state historian for the Ancient Order of Hibernians and a member of the Richland County 250, more than 370 Irish-born soldiers fought in South Carolina for independence. Two of South Carolina's signers of the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution were also Irish Americans. How about that? I wanted to share that as we celebrate St. Patty's Day. I wanted to I wanted to share that with you. I think people really don't realize what a pivotal role South Carolina played. We were the fighters. We fought here in South Carolina. Some parts of the country were thinkers. Some people were designing things. We were the fighters. And for that, I will always be proud of South Carolina. We are the fighters. That's going to do it for me. You know me. I love being on the air with you every morning, even if I'm wearing this stupid hat here. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you'll, if you don't get to see it now, I hope you'll go back and watch it. I am proud to be with you here today. So as we close out here today, I think, I need to go back and get this song. I'm not playing my standard song here. Heck no, we've got to play something for the day. And Penny's going, and get off the air. I want my breakfast. Look at her. Well, you can't see her. She's down there on the floor. But she's joining me on the chair. We've been practicing on the chair. And just like what I think, she's going to be waving at you going, hi, hi. And I'm going to have to be sitting there being attentive with Penny. Yeah, there you go. That's the way it's going to go here. Anyways, you are listening to WCRS. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. I also want to say a big shout out. Here we go. A big shout out to who, Ann? To the Greenwood Lake cleanup. I understand they had a fabulous time. Picked up so much trash, had over 200 people there. So congratulations to all that helped out, and we will reap the rewards of that all summer long because of that. Hey, be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And here you go. I'm closing it out with this one. I like this song.
Could have been the whiskey, might have been the gin, could have been the 3 or 4 6-packs, I don't know. But look at the mess I'm in, my head's like a football. I think I'm gonna die. Tell me, oh my, wasn't that a party? Someone took a grapefruit, wore it like a hat. I saw someone under my kitchen table talking to my old tall cat. They were talking about a hockey. The cat was talking back. Along about then everything went right. I wasn't